year, I'd been going up to the Duchess. I'm good friends with Jason, who runs the Duchess. I've got a 20-year relationship with him because he also runs Heraldic Pottery, specialising in printing and making ceramic prints. So I'd worked with him. He introduced me to Darren, who's part of Centre Space Arts, and I'd been really looking at the investigating how wonderful the nightlife was in Stoke, not just about rave, but because of, all-nighters come from rave. The symbol for Northern Soul was invented in Stoke, the Palace, all of this stuff. So I'd been researching it all, and then the Biennial came up, and really, I have to say, these two people pressurised me, saying, please, we want Fat Boy's car, do it, apply. So I did. And this is basically was my design. I'm not a painter or a drawer, it was, as you can see, but this was the idea behind it. And because Stoke does have a really good rave history, the things kind of came together. I was always going to make that car about rave, but decided we would just specifically do it about rave, and mainly in Longton, because that's where the Duchess factory is. And Jason is an old raver. Like me, because we're similar ages, and I wanted to sew. I am an old raver, okay? This is me, 89. I was actually in Leeds Polytechnic at the time, and I was going to Blackpool every Thursday to Frenzy, and you can see I was part of the arm-wearing dungaree wearers. There's me. That's me at the first ever Pontins Weekender. So I was a real raver. My heart really was in it. I appreciate that some of you here probably don't know what that really was like in the late 80s. So I've got a little film which I think sums up that period of time. If you go to the next one and show it, it's not me.
Are you guys going to stop ever? Or are you going to keep dancing forever?
I'm keep dancing forever, me. Well, at least till I remember where I put my car.
So having found myself dancing around a car alarm at 5 a.m. in Blackpool, I can attest that was really my experience of rave in the 80s. And so, how did I start it? First of all, I came and spent a week up at the Duchess. Going to the Duchess is amazing. For those who don't know, it was established in 1888. It's one of the oldest bone china factories in Stoke-on-Trent. They have this fantastic archive. They've got all the old vintage print from all the other, it used to manufacture lots of other people's plates and things. So I had unlimited access to wander around, choose whatever I wanted. They've also got the most amazing pattern books that, from the 20s, 30s, 40s, where you could go and have a look. I actually did go through these books and take out some of the motifs I like, and I got their amazing graphic designer aid to trace all the lines and make me gold versions of these old prints, which are layered onto the car or are layered onto the plates. So this talk's a great opportunity to really explain all the kind of bits that would go missing in this project. You don't necessarily know how much went into every single bit. So I spent a week there. It was amazing. I went to the factory. This is my little space where I worked. Two things I learnt: it's so much easier when you have heat and you can heat your ceramics, because this is all heated up where you put your plates. And secondly, light. I realised that I work in practically darkness in my own studio, but light and heat was great. So I worked there for a week, basically just layering all these plates with all this information that I found. I mean, all of this was sourced online. I joined all the rave groups of Stoke-on-Trent. I'm part of all these now raved in the 90s groups, which is good. So next one. So each plate, if you look at it outside, each plate is supposed to tell a bit of history. This is the fact that Fat Boy did actually play here. He had a very important battle of the DJs. His first ever one was here. So he does have a reason to be on the car and to be part of it all. So each plate, like I said, tells you a bit of history. This tells you about Longton, because Longton did have Shelley's, and Shelley's is possibly one of the most important nightclubs for rave for a couple of years. But also, I wanted to show you, lots of it, all of this print. This is fabulous print that was all taken from the archives. So you can see this wonderful flowers. And I loved this one just because it showed you all the different local companies all supporting Shelley's. You can see how much it was embedded in the community. I love the fact they have photography for the disabled north. You know, they're bigging up Shelley's and their new lighting equipment. This one here, Sasha, DJ Sasha, first started at Shelley's. So that was another important bit of information. And also to tell you that it continues. You know, this is about, it's not just historical, the rave. They have all-nighters. I haven't managed to go to one yet. I want to. But they do have monthly all-nighters here. The rave scene does continue. Here again, you can see all the different print that I've tried to kind of include. Because the whole point of this was supposed to be a crossover, was supposed to marriage, you know, Longton's history in rave, but also in ceramics. So there's a plate that shows you. So if you have a look at it and you look at the detail, you'll see that it's this celebration of both the potteries and the nightlife. So for me, going to the factory was like being Charlie in the chocolate factory. I got to see how everything was done. Here's my pills going through. You know, it was amazing to see how they have these different kilns where they push them in and they come out overnight, to see how quick, you know, in the time I was there. You can see it gets wheeled in, wheeled out. I had the most hysterical emails going on at the time going, look, Aid, can you get me 30 more pills? I need 50 white ones and 12 blue. So it was funny. So there's me and my pills. And also, because one of the things I learned, they have a conveyor belt. So my plates would go on a conveyor belt and come out within an hour and a half. So it was fantastic. I could get the plates and then relayer them within 2 hours. This is me and Jason on my last day with our plates. So after spending 5 frantic days in Stoke, I had my plates, I had my pills, and the next thing was to go home and put these to a car. Here we are. Here's Sam, a man who can, sitting in the audience. Like to say thank you to Sam because he made every substructure work for us. After I'd left that car for 3 years in rain and destroyed it, he came along and fixed it all for us. Didn't just fix it. The first time they came, they were going to take my car and tow it up to Stoke so I could do all the work in Stoke, but they couldn't move it. It didn't move it. It seized up. I was literally crying like, oh my God, I can't move this car. But then Sam came from nowhere and helped us get everything done. So thank you very much to Sam. Simultaneously, as all of the other stuff, I wanted to point out, you don't get pink tiles. The tiles that are on that car, you don't get pink. They don't manufacture pink tiles in this country that are frost-proof. So all of those tiles mainly started out as white, that have all had layers of ceramic glaze go on top of them, and then build up different layers of pink. I then spent a long time also, that's called Julia, that's a print. It was my favourite print that I discovered at the Duchess. And so I took loads of their old vintage stuff and I layered that, and that's layered onto white tiles, onto pink tiles, onto dark pink tiles, which is why it has all of that kind of lush variations of colour. But simultaneously to sticking things on the car, nighttime I was filling up kilns left, right and centre, because I don't do spatial awareness very well. I had no idea the size of anything. It was just like, oh my God, we need more tiles. I was sending endless emails to Jason going, send me more prints. I've got 6 days. So it did feel like, the whole thing did feel a bit like a cross between Challenge Annika and DIY SOS. It was like, So, yeah, as you can see, we actually started on Tuesday, the 22nd of August. I did want to start on Monday, but I was on my own and literally had a nervous breakdown, burst into tears, decided it was all too overwhelming. And so I just went and watched Netflix and did a bit of... and waited for my assistant, who's been working with me for over 10 years, Sian, who's also here, who I can't thank enough. We wouldn't have this car if it wasn't for her. I had to wait till Tuesday when she started. And so, unfortunately, I was so panic-stricken about making this car that the first thing I thought we should do is just, let's stick loads of plates on the front of the car because then we'll have started. Let's just get started. Sam here cut a hole into the bonnet of the car so we could put in the deep set, the first plate, the large one, which was like a bowl. And we stuck all these plates down. And I thought, oh, that's good. We've stuck loads of plates down, but it created the worst nightmare ever because then we should never have done that. We should have mosaiced it and then stuck the plates on. But it was a hard lesson to learn and created a ton of stress and work. So as you can see, we've stuck the plates, then we have to kind of mosaic around every single bit. And you know, it's obvious, but force of gravity makes this a nightmare because everything will fall off. I have to say that at this point, I was talking to Sean about the fact that maybe we couldn't do it all. Maybe we should just do little bits of it and have the car showing because I'd kind of thought, oh my God, how are we going to do this? This is a nightmare. One thing I did do is started on the roof because the roof was really easy. It was little black. You can see they're little black pre-bought tiles, which then I kind of took ones out of and carefully put the gold transfers on. But that seemed like a really quick thing to do as well. It's like, let's do the roof. So I just started that without really thinking, how does it all fit? It was just like, okay, let's just start. That's good. We've got a roof and we've got some plates stuck on there. But luckily, Sean said, let's do templates. And I was like, okay, yeah, obviously, that's the thing to do, isn't it? So we realised that we're going to have to template it. I wish Sean had stopped me before I started, but people can't really stop me from doing anything. But yeah, so we decided we'd template it all, which was how we did it. So we draw up, we get templates of it that enables us to take that back in the studio. We work on a netting, so we stick the tiles to netting, and then we stick it on the car. If anyone's interested in what we're using to stick this on, we're using, I can't remember the name, epoxy or something. It comes from, we were donated all the stuff from Palace Chemicals, and really it's a 3-part epoxy adhesive. It's super strong. It just, it also, because we were making little batches of it, we had to have big syringes where we were getting the exact amounts, mixing it all up. Horrible stuff to work with, sticks to everything. But that's what we were sticking it. And we also used an epoxy grout, so nothing's coming off that car. So here you can see we're working in the studio. We're making all of these strips. Every single bit is cut. We had all these pills, but then we discovered that the pills were too thick. So then I had to discover how to cut them on a cutter, which was another big problem. I mean, to be honest, everything doing this was a problem that just had to be sorted out and worked out because I'd never done this before. I'd stuck tiles on a car. I'd not stuck plates on a car. It's a completely different thing. So this is how it was done inside on templates. And this is to show we were working we were working in the morning up until night time, till it got dark. We did try to work with lights, but lights create shadows. And every time you do it, you come back the next day and you have to undo the bits that you were trying to do in night. So we generally stopped when it got dark. And then I would switch. Once I'd done that, I'd go back into the studio, into my other studio. And here you can see, these are all the beautiful gold decals that they made for me at the Duchess, all beautifully hand-drawn and lifted from all those old vintage books that I showed you. And you can see they're all individually cut out and then layered onto those little black tiles. And that's it, layering it onto the plates. I mean, really, it will only show in the sun. It's one of those things that it needs the sun to hit it, and then hopefully at certain points it'll be magical and it will all reflect off the car. So, yep, 20 days to go. We finally got one getting pieces up onto the car. By then I realised I really need help and it was time to phone a friend. So this is Karen, who I actually graduated with from college, and Mark, her brother. We've been working together since '98. We formed a collective then and we're still working together. Thankfully, I can call them in to help me. Amazing artists, ATM Street Art and Karen Francesca coming to help me. This is Pia. She was from Argentina. She came for a day to come and help us too. Another amazing artist. But it was kind of like a rush against time. You can see what we have to do is we make a piece, we stick it up on the car, we gaffer tape it up, and then we have to leave that for 24 hours. We can't do any section below it. So there's a kind of a time limit where we have to stick one section, go around the car the next day, stick the next one up. We also had to stick up all the kind of black lining that separates those bits, which I managed to lose, and we had to find them, and it was all a nightmare. here you go. You can see we've got 16 days to go, and we're trying to get the plates on. We're also having to cut the plates, which is also quite difficult. Luckily, I have a wet saw that you can do it on, but it took several attempts. Again, this is Tamara. She's the head of the British Association of Modern Mosaic. She came and gave me a day. One day of her is like 5 days of anybody else. It's like Speedy Gonzales. So she came to help. This is a little short film that Darren made, which I think really captures the energy of that time. So it's only like a minute, so if you just...
Now we're on it like a carb on it.
Thanks to Darren for making that. That kind of captures the kind of energy. You can imagine it's Groundhog Day. Every day we're there in the studio trying to racing against time. Here's Lula and Jane also here who came and helped us. And just to point out, this was the weather. You know, this is when it suddenly turned. I mean, actually, it went into the 90s. I have to tell you that car was so hot to touch that we're not morning people, so we couldn't actually start before 12. But we couldn't touch the car till 4 in the evening because it was just too hot, even with our stupid constructed tarpaulin. We just couldn't touch it. It was a nightmare. You know, that we lost so much time just because it was too hot, and we were trying to make it, but we were running out of time to literally install it and battling the weather. I was worried about rain, but, you know, it was the heat that we were battling against. 8 days to go, and we got those. Thanks, Sam, for sorting that out. Oh, right, and this is probably our little joyous film. Yeah, that was one little light where we were all like, oh, we've got a license plate at least, haven't we? Again, I was going to say, working at night, we did have these awful builder's lights that they generate more heat than anything. I mean, Sian tried it for about 10 minutes and it was just unbearable. We had to, just not do it. I mean, we were extremely worried about timing at this rate.
Oh, that breeze. If only you could feel the breeze. Life through the fan lens.
This is how we ended up working. That was literally how me and Sian was spending the last couple of days, was with a fan dripping with sweat. I had a wet towel on my head. You know, we are parked in front of my studio, and it was great because all these people were walking by all the time and coming to talk to us. And I mean, it was quite a fun thing. So yeah, we got 3 days to go. Darren came to help film us. We've got everything on the car at this stage, but there's 3 days to go, and it's grouting time. And so literally grouting called in the whole team. It was literally a one day where we got everyone I knew who could come and help to just get it grouted. So that's really the only way we got it grouted, was having like a team of, I don't know how many there are, 6 of us there. It's like unbelievably, it takes a lot of time to put the grout on, to take it off, and then to go back and refine it all and do it. And a thank you to all of you here that were there helping me. Couldn't have done it without you guys. So yeah, we've got 2 days to go, and we had to stick up all of the plates. So we've done it, we've got it, we stuck the plates on. We're sticking them up with gaffer tape, and then rain, torrential, monsoonal rain. You can see health and safety is a big factor where I am. blocked off the street. I literally had to stand there for about 10 minutes holding that tarpaulin up, trying to keep it off of the plates, because if the gaffer tape gets wet, it just all slides off. So we literally stuck them on, left it like that, and prayed to God when we came back the next day they'd still be in place. There's one that slightly slipped. I won't tell you which one, but one of them slightly slipped. But we did pretty well considering the conditions that we were under. So this is the last day. It's unbelievable. I mean, the last day could have gone on forever. If I'd had another 5 days, I would have done it for 5 days, because you're literally there with scrapers trying to clean off every little bit, trying to get everything to be okay. Here's my friend Theodora. She came last minute because she likes to make sure everything's clean. And this is us when we'd finished. This was our happy faces, having finished it at about 10 o'clock at night the day before it was due to be collected. So yeah, this is it. Come in here. I just wanted to point out, thank you so much to Pete and the whole team for getting that car in. I can tell you it took about 4 hours and involved slight changing of a wall. But yeah, it was a nightmare. When we came here to first talk about it, I'd said, well, you've got about an inch either side. I don't know if you'll ever get that in. It's like, yeah, we will. It's like, well, the plates, and we were inching that in, as you can see, going, no, stop, take it out, take it in. But eventually it got in, and thank you to all of the British Ceramics Biennale for setting it up and making it all look so fabulous. And so here it is. You obviously go and see it. I would like to point out that Darren has made a fantastic video. He's been interviewing local people and DJs, and he's made a fabulous audio thing that fits in the car. It's actually much better at night. If you were here last night, it was like proper raving and strobe light. I think it captures the atmosphere of the piece. But these are just, so there you are. This is more for people who aren't able to go walk and see it for themselves. So yeah, it's me and Sean. It's the treatment rooms. Just go and have a look at all the little details, because it is the devil's in the details. So go and have a look. That means never sleep. That's my final thing to say. There's where I'm coming from. So I'd like to thank, obviously, everyone who helped me. Thanks, Sarah, because she gave us all those wonderful photos. And thank you very much. Yep. I mean, lots of people worried about that, because every night it's in a very vulnerable condition. We did buy a cover for it, but that was very late in the day. But to be fair, nothing. No one's ever vandalised my house. No one's ever vandalised my other 2 cars. I think that a lot of vandals have a high appreciation of art. Well, the ones that are graffiti ones. But no, I mean, we just had to put it in the faith, just have faith that they didn't. And nobody did. It was a worry, but no. I have no idea, but a lot, because I can tell you, if you just lift 8 of those plates, it is heavy. They came to collect it on a flatbed, and I said, oh, how fast are you going to go? And he said, about 60 miles. I said, all right, well, we'll follow up. And he was stopping to stop, but we didn't. We went all the way up, and we never saw the car, and we thought, well, where is it? And then it went bombing past us at, honestly, 75 miles an hour. We couldn't keep up with it. All we could see was the flapping of the cover on it, going like this, thinking, oh my God. And then he just put it outside. But yeah, I was thinking then, if it can survive that, it can survive anything. Well, great question. I wish I knew the answer to, but I'm giving it to the Duchess factory. I'm loaning it forever to the Duchess factory. They're going to become the custodians of it. Obviously, it's like my present to Stoke-on-Trent. This is the place it has to reside, because it's all about Stoke-on-Trent. So the Duchess assure me that they are going to take good care of it and find other places for it to be shown. We would like, obviously it to be on permanent display, but yeah, it's going to be somewhere up in Stoke. Thank you.